E-learning with NUT Endo Model Science School, Mina.
Good morning, beautiful and wonderful angels, students, pupils of NUT Endo Model Science School, Mina. Today, we're continuing our online classes, and it's my sincere hope that you're all staying safe and also observing all the safety precautions against COVID-19, the coronavirus. Even though everything around the world have stopped, from the economy to everything around us, so much that we cannot even go out. But you see, there's one thing that never stops, and that is learning. You are at home and you're still learning. When you're in school, you still learn. Wherever you are, one thing that you can always count on and do is learning. So today we're going to look at basic science, year 3, and the presenter is none other than myself, Teacher Haruna. I will need you to pick your exercise book, your writing materials, either your biro or pencil with eraser. Let's take this journey together and see what we have. The topic for discussion this morning is the characteristics of living things. Characteristics of living things. And the objective of this lesson will be that at the end of this lesson, you should be able to list and define the characteristics of living organisms. So if you're ready, let's go. Now, there are some things that you can define. For example, I can ask you to define a verb, and you will tell me that a verb is an action word or a doing word. I can ask you to define energy, and you will tell me energy is the ability or capacity to do work. I can ask you to define addition, and you tell me addition means putting things together. There is no straight definition for living things, just the way you have for noun, for verb, for energy, for power. However, there are certain characteristics that when you put them together will determine if something is a living thing or not. Now, all of those characteristics that we're going to mention, 7 of them actually, must be present in that particular thing before you can say that, oh, this thing is a living thing. If you have 6 out of 7, that thing cannot be regarded as a living thing. If you have 3 out of 7, that thing cannot be referred to as a living thing. You must have 7 out of 7 for that thing to be called a living thing. Now, the first characteristics which we're going to look at is movement. Anything that can move from one place to another, either total movement or partial movement by movement of its parts, has a tendency to be a living thing. Also, respiration, exchange of gas, breathing. Anything that can breathe, take in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, has, or taking carbon dioxide and bring out oxygen, has a tendency of being called a living thing. The next is sensitivity or irritability. Sense of feeling. Can this thing feel? If you touch it, can it react to your touching? If the environment changes, will it react to the change of the environment? When an organism or something, phenomenon in the environment has this, then it has a tendency, probability of being called a living thing. But remember, like I said, 3 out of 7 cannot characterize that thing as a living thing until it has 7/7. The next is growth. Can it grow? Does it grow? Yes, if it grows, then it has a tendency to be a living thing. But if it doesn't, no, it cannot be a living thing. Reproduction. Can it reproduce? Produce offspring of their kind? Give birth to their own kind? If that thing you're thinking of can do that, then yes, that thing has a tendency, a probability to be a living thing. But we just have 5 out of 7. So that thing cannot be called a living thing yet until it has the remaining 2, which we're going to list. Excretion. Removal of waste product from the body. Can that thing excrete? Does it wee? Does it poo? Does it sweat? Is it able to remove water from its body? Either through whatever means. This is one of them. And lastly, nutrition. Can that thing eat? If that thing eats, does the eating create any effect in that thing? So whatever it is that you think of, this is the measurement criteria to determine if that thing is a living thing or not. So if it moves, it respires, it has sense of feeling, it can grow, it can reproduce, it can excrete, and it can feed, then that thing can be called a living thing. Movement. What is movement? An action by an organism or part of an organism causing a change of position or place. An action by an organism, the whole of the organism, or part of an organism, not the whole, that's some part. Because I know, when we say that, for example, plant is a living thing, somebody will like, does plant move? Yes. Plant doesn't move the whole of its body, but it can move some part of its body. And that is why you will see that oftentimes when you place a plant in the direction of sunlight, it will grow towards the what? Sunlight. The next one is respiration. The chemical reaction that breaks down nutrients, molecules in living cells to release energy. The breathing, the oxygen you take in actually does a chemical function of breaking down the food you eat into what can be able to give you the energy and ability to do work. So that is what the gas does. It doesn't just like it goes into your lungs and all of that. No, it helps to break down the food you eat into smaller particles that can use energy. The next is sensitivity, which is irritability. The ability to detect or sense change in the environment, stimuli, and to make response. For example, if you get hold of a hot iron, what happens? Immediately you throw it away. Now, the feeling of the hotness is the sense or stimuli. And the throwing away of the iron to avoid getting burnt is the response. So any organism that has this also has a tendency of being called a living thing. Growth. A permanent increase in size and dry mass by an increase in cell number or cell size or both. A permanent increase that cannot be decreased again after the increase in size, either height or dry mass, weight, by an increase in cell number. It means the cells will multiply or cell size, or the cell size will grow bigger, or both. That is what we refer to as growth. Reproduction, the process that make more of the same kind of organisms. I look like my dad. I don't know who you look like. Perhaps my dad and my mom gave birth to me as an offspring. Today, I also have my own children as my offspring. Tomorrow, my children will have their own children, my grandchildren as their offspring. It goes on and on and on. And that is the circle of life. Excretion, the removal from organisms of toxic materials, the waste products of metabolism, chemical reaction in cells including respiration, and the substances in excess of requirement. What are we saying? Organisms that are able to remove toxic material. Maybe when you take in something that is hazardous and immediately you're able to remove it off, or maybe from the food you eat, those that are not useful, they go to the large intestine and you pass them as excreta, or maybe from the things you drink, those are not useful, they come out as urine. All of that, they form what we call excretion. Even the sweat from your body forms part of it. Nutrition, the taking in of nutrients, which are organic substances and mineral ions, containing raw materials or energy for growth and tissue repair, absorbing and assimilating them. Meaning, when you eat, you digest. Once you digest whatever it is you have eaten, the digestion ends when the tissues, the cells that requires this nutrient for energy gets them. And the excess that is not required at that moment are stored in specific places in the body for later use. Ladies and gentlemen, this lesson is going to be a very precise and simple one. Let's quickly look at the summary of what it takes to be a living thing. The first one we said is movement. The second one is respiration. The third one is sensitivity or irritability. The fourth one is growth. The fifth one is reproduction. The sixth one is excretion. And the seventh one is nutrition. So do you have all of these? Can you move? If you can move, please tick yes. Can you respire? Do you extend gas? If you can do that, also mark yes. If you cannot do it, mark no. Sensitivity. Are you able to feel things around you? Like the breeze, like hotness or coldness? If you're able to do that, mark yes. And if you're not able to do that, mark no. Growth. Are you growing? Is it the same way you were last year that you are today? Tell the mommy to give you your pictures from when you were born till now and check, are you growing? Are you increasing in height? Are you increasing in weight? And if you're doing that, please mark yes. And if you are not doing that, mark no. Reproduction. Are you going to be able to give birth to your own kind as you grow up? Yes, you can. So that is no question of either yes or no. It's a pure yes. Excretion. Do you go to the toilet? Do you go to the restroom? Do you go to the convenience? Do you go to the lavatory? What do you do there? Oh, you excrete? You wee? You poo? You even fart? All these are excretion. So if you do them, mark yes, and if you don't, please mark no. Lastly, have you eaten today? Did you eat yesterday? Are you going to eat lunch? Are you going to eat dinner? If yes, also mark yes, and if no, mark no. However, if in any of these you have a no, then please know it that you are not a living thing. And so is any other thing around you that doesn't have the complete characteristics of a living thing. Now let's take this quiz quickly. Guess which characteristics is being demonstrated by the following animations. 1. Question 1. What is this animal doing? Is it nutrition? Is it growth? I don't know. You tell me. What is this animal doing? Is it nutrition? Is it movement? I don't know. You tell me. What is this animal doing? Oh, feeding? Oh, sensitivity? I don't know, you tell me. What is this animal doing? Oh, it's flying? It's swimming? I don't know, you tell me. And what is this animal doing? Oh my God. You're guessing right? I guess as much too. And what is this animal doing? Aha. Now, so far you should have named a total of 5 characteristics. However, there are 7 characteristics in total. Name the 2 remaining characteristics that were not displayed by any other animal. How well did you do? I don't know until you submit your homework. Then I'm going to mark it and I will know how well you did. So until we see you again next time, stay safe, read your books, obey your parents, observe safety precautions, pray that the pandemic should be over soon, do your homeworks and submit. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.